Hey guys, I hope you're doing well today. Today's video I've been wanting to do for a while. I've been testing out the Too Faced Natural Love palette for I think the past month or so, and I really wanted to give you guys a review on it. So I am wearing it on my eyes today. I think I'm going to go the ThriftThick route, or Cassie if you guys watch her. And she does like mini tutorials in her videos, so I actually just filmed one on this eye look. And I just want to let you know my thoughts on this palette overall, so let's get into it. So first let's start off with the packaging. On the outside it just has like pink flowers and it's kind of like a yellowy color. I don't love the packaging honestly, but I do like the shape of it and I like how thin it is. I think they did squeeze all the eyeshadows that they can into the size of this palette, but I don't love like the outside. The velvet part can get pretty messy, and overall the packaging is just kind of to me. It does have a pretty nice mirror. I need to clean mine because I've been using this palette for a month, and it does work pretty nicely, but it's not the best mirror that I've tried. So here is what the layout of the colors look like. In this palette there are 5 mattes and 25 shimmers. So the mattes are Stiletto, this black color, Makeup and Chill, which is this beautiful reddy brown. The Makeup and Chill color was from the Power of Makeup by Nikki Tutorials Too Faced palette, and I think the quality on this one is pretty nice. And then also there's Honey Butter, which is this peachy color, this Spotlight color, which is a matte cream yellow color, Heaven, which was probably my favorite matte in the palette. That's Heaven. It's the perfect brow bone shade. There's also this other peachy color, but a little bit more pink, in Lace Teddy. And then this shade right here, it's a matte crease color in Nudie. So those are the only mattes in this palette. And I do think they work nicely as transition shades and liner shades if you're talking about Stiletto. And I have used Makeup and Chill as a liner before too, and it looks very beautiful. I do like the quality of pretty much all the shimmers in this palette. I did put Kittens on my lid today, which is that purple color. It's a very light purple with a gold sheen, and it is on my lid, and I don't think it's very pigmented. So here's a swatch of it. I think it's just the color, since it has that duochrome shift, it just makes it look a little less pigmented on the eyes. I do think the other shimmers are really nice quality. Some of my favorites in here are Hot and Bothered, which is this red color. It's very pretty. Here are just a couple swatches of my favorites besides Kittens, which is that purple one right there. Hot and Bothered is this beautiful orangey red shade, which is very metallic. This is Moonbeam, and this is a beautiful light gold champagne color. And then Fairy Tale, which is more of like a glittery champagne. Fairy Tale is very flaky, but I don't notice a ton of fallout on the eyes. This one is Fairy Tale right here. I am going to swatch all of the colors on my arm in pictures. I can't really get a great angle on camera, but on pictures I should be able to get all the swatches. And I do like the shadows in this palette. Some of the shimmers, like I said, are better than others, but the mattes blend really beautifully. And I do like the color selection. I kind of wish that pink shade wasn't here, called Bunny Nose, just because I don't use pink shadows. And that's overall the only shadow that I probably won't be getting a ton of use out of in this palette. There are a bunch of dark shades. I would say these two columns, the last two, are where the darker shades are, and I've worked with them and they do blend really nicely. Sometimes Undercover can be a little bit hard to blend, but the other ones are very nice. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of my review, but these are colors from other Too Faced palettes. Probably not all of them, but a lot of them are. So like Nudie, this is from the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. I believe Honey Butter is from the Natural Matte palette. I think Satin Sheets is from the Romantic Eye palette. So a lot of these shades you might have in other palettes, especially if you have Too Faced palettes. All of these shades can probably be duped, so I wouldn't say this is a necessity. Another thing to note is that Dear Diary, Coffee Date, and Spoiled, they do look very similar in the pan, so I decided to swatch them. So from left to right, this is Dear Diary, Coffee Date, Spoiled, and then I also decided to swatch Push Up from the palette, and they are similar but they are different at the same time. So they might look similar on the eyes. I haven't actually tried those on the eyes, but I have used Push Up and it looks very similar to Toasted in the Naked palette. So all in all, I do recommend this palette. I just don't think it's a necessity, but it is a great palette. I would recommend it to others who are interested in it, but if you do have other Too Faced palettes, you probably don't need this one because there are some very similar shades in their other palettes. You could probably dupe similar shades that might not have the same names, but they probably might have renamed them. You could probably dupe those ones, and if you have a ton of neutral palettes, you don't need this, so I don't want you guys to go out spending your money on this if you have so many neutral palettes, so you could probably have all of these shades in other even different brands of palettes. But if you're a beginner and if you just like neutral eyeshadows like me and you don't have a ton of eyeshadows, I think in total I have around like 56 or 58 eyeshadows now. So I think I have a nice variety, especially adding this palette into the mix because I was running out of matte shades. I think it could have more matte shades, but it does have a nice variety of shimmers, some transition shades, some darker shades, and I do think this could work for a variety of skin tones. There are some light shades for us pale people out here, but there are some deeper shades and some more like really nice, creamy, warm shades like Hot and Bothered. Oh my god, this would look beautiful on like medium to tan skin tones. So there is a nice variety in this palette. I do think Too Faced did a good job. I think the quality is the same as their natural palettes, or at least the ones in like the 9-pan tins. I think the quality is great. They blend well. They're pigmented. Aside from Kittens, I don't love that shade even though I did put it on my eyes today. Make sure you stay tuned for the swatches up next if you're interested. Make sure you stay tuned for the mini tutorials up next. For my first mini tutorial, I started out with primed eyes and I'm applying the LOC Shadow Stick and Heavy Petal, blending it out with my finger. And now I'm applying the Benefit Watts Up Cream Highlighter. Those are both projects in my project pan. Now I'm applying Heaven, and it is a matte cream shade to help with blending, and I used an It Cosmetics brush. Now I'm going into Kittens for all over my lid, and I kept the outer corner blank. This shade wasn't my favorite, but it was somewhat pretty. It just wasn't that pigmented. So now we're going into the crease with Nudie with this blending brush, and I think it looked really nice. Now we're going into Love Bug, and I'm applying that on towards my outer corner, but I honestly didn't like the way it looks. You'll probably be able to tell by my face in a minute. It probably would look nice on its own. Yeah, there's my face. I didn't like it very much, so I just decided to cover it up with Kittens. And then now we're going into Undercover with a detailer brush on the outer corner to give this look some depth a little bit. Now we're blending it out, any harsh edges with this Do Care brush, and wanted to make everything nice and seamless. And now we're just highlighting the brow bone with Heaven, the same shade I used to help blend out in the beginning. And now I want to tightline my eyes, apply winged eyeliner. So I used the Revlon eyeliner, NYC eyeliner for a wing, and then L'Oreal mascara. So there's my face all done. Now we're going into Undercover for the lower lash line. We're going to be using this angled brush. And then I also went in with Love Bug on the majority of the lower lash line, going into the inner corner with the same angled brush. And then I started out with Pink Cheeks on my inner corner with my e.l.f. Precision brush, but I ended up not liking it that much, so I put Poodles, which is directly below it, on top, and there's the finished eye look. So guys, we're getting into the second mini tutorial. I've already primed my eyes with the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I also applied cream shadow, but it's not necessary. They will look fine without it, the eyeshadows, but I actually just like to put a cream shadow down anyway just to make them pop even more. I also set my brow bone. So now we're going to get into the actual eyeshadow. I'm using Moonbeam from the palette all over the lid. It's a gorgeous golden champagne color. I love this shade. It's one of my favorites in the palette. And now we're going into Honey Butter, which is this beautiful peachy shade, and we're blending this into the crease with a nice fluffy blending brush. Use whatever you'd like for this look. And now we're going into Hot and Bothered, and this is a beautiful orangey red shade, and it's super metallic. It looks gorgeous. I haven't tried it all over the lid, but I really want to, but we just packed that on with the detailer brush, and just blending out the edges a little bit with a somewhat clean blending brush. It doesn't have any additional product. But now we're actually going into Heaven, which is the matte cream shade, and highlighting the brow bone. And this is with an It Cosmetics brush just to help with the blending and brighten the lid a little bit. and blending a little bit of honey butter over the edges just to make everything a little bit more seamless. Keep blending. And then we're actually going to line the eyes with Makeup and Chill. This really helps colored eyes pop, and I'm sure it would look gorgeous on brown eyes as well. This look is one of my favorites because it really brightens up my blue eyes. So I'm actually doing a shadow wing, and as you can see, I'm getting that little point right there. That isn't my favorite brush to use. I have another one that I like, but I was just already using it, so it's whatever. Now I'm going to apply mascara off camera, and there's my face without lipstick and underneath my lash line eyeshadow. So for the lash line, we're going to use Makeup and Chill underneath on that angled detailer brush, the same one we used to line the eyes. And we're actually going to bring it in all the way except for the inner corner. We're going to leave that for a more brightening shade. And that shade is going to be Fairy Tale, and this shade was gorgeous for the inner corner. This was a very brightening champagne-y gold shade, and it has a little bit of glitter flecks in it. I love that shade, but anyway, here's the finished eye look. That's pretty much all I have to say about this palette. I've told you all that I think about it. I like it, but it's not a necessity. But if you'd like me to review any other products that are on the market right now, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to check out the other mini tutorials. If you're interested, I'll have them in time cards down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.